Today I'm going to try to do a mock cut crease. Again, I'm going to use my contour palette, but you can use any palette that has browns in it. I'm short on brushes because it's a whole story about how getting my brushes clean is just major for me. So anyway, I'm going to try and do it. So I'm calling it a mock because I'm not actually going to cut the crease. I'm just going to show you how you can get that look without actually having to do like the whole removal and then putting the concealer, etc. on there. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the darkest color that I'm going to use, which is going to be like where the cut is. So I'm going to use this dark color of my contour. I'm using this Sigma brush here. It's a little bit fluffy, but it's also flat. So you want something that's really flat or pointed to make that mark. So I'm just going to tap it on the top, and then I'm going to go where I want the cut to be. So I always leave my eyes open. I know they tell you to put the concealer and then look up, but like really the way where my hoods go down, when I do that, it just goes like right here, which is not going to help me. It's still going to be where nobody can see it. So I look straight up, and then I look to right where, like, see, this is where the crease is, it hangs down, so I go above that. So I'm just going to go like right here, and I'm just going to make that mark, and then I'm just going to go across this. I'm starting to run out of color. Again, always remember that you're not pushing the color in, you're just lightly putting it down. So when color starts coming off, you need to dip again into your brush. And if you do, like what I found is I was always doing things like a lot harder than they were supposed to be, you know what I mean? And so I'd be like pushing it in there. And then what happens is when you go to do the blend, there's not a hell of a lot to blend because you've like crushed it into your eye. And so it makes blending actually a lot more difficult. So all you're doing is just placing that color. So I'm just going to place it down here. And then of course I'm going to have to lift my eye, right? Because I'm not going to be able to get down there because that skin is there, right? I can do it just by raising my brow. If you cannot, then you may have to physically lift your brow to make that happen. And depending on what my brows have decided they're going to do that day, sometimes I have to do that as well, because sometimes my hoods are actually more hooded on some days than they are on others. So like some days when you're finding it like really difficult to get things done, that might just be what it is that you know, they've just decided to be a little extra that day. Especially with mine, I find like the outer part right here. So some days it's like this, other days it's like way further down. So you're just gonna have to work with it because your skin and your eyes have decided to do something other than what you want them to do. And then again, I'm just gonna go down here, and I'm going to have to lift up my eye because I'm not going to be able to get that area unless I do that because of the hoods. So I'm just going to go like this and like this. I'm just going to add a little bit here and a little bit here as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small fluffy brush. Now, it's one thing you'll always notice with me is I always try to use the smallish brush that I can in order to get the job done, because I don't have a lot of space happening, and because of the way that my hood is, and I think most people with hooded eyes, so if you use bigger brushes it's really hard because the surface of the brush is really big. So if I use something that's twice as big as this, it's going to draw the color, it's going to bring that color all the way up because that's how big the brush is. So if you don't want where it's like really close to your brow or whatever, then you try to use a smaller brush. Look specifically for brushes that are, if you want to diffuse the color, that are wide like this, but not a big fluffy as in size, like the roundness of the brush. So I'm going to go into the second color. Actually, let me check the second color first. I want to see if that's light enough, and it's not. So I'm going to go in this color here, and then I'm going to blend over top this color. So I'm just going to go in here twice, and I'm going to dab, and then I'm going to go above this color here, and then just do like small circles. And then just bring it up a little bit. And again, you don't have to bring it up as high as I am. Everybody's like comfortable with, you know, different heights to get it up there, right? Like when I first started, like I would never go this high because it was just too high for me. Now I don't mind it. I like it that way, but you don't have to. You could have taken this color and bring it down a little bit. And sometimes too, it depends on, you know, again, your hoods, where they start, right? So you couldn't start lower because, you know, your hood is there, right? So I'm just gonna, again, just in small little circles, and then I'm gonna go in between the two right here and just go lightly along that line. You don't want to go too much because then you're gonna get rid of this darkness, okay? So I'm just gonna go here. And again, I'm just noting, for if this is the first time that you've seen me, that I move my head because I have hand disability. So I can't really grip brushes and stuff like that with my hand very well. So I just place it. That's why I'm using it oddly as well. So I'm just basically anchoring the brush against my thumb because I can't pinch things. And then again, I'm going to do the same over on this side. So I'm just going to go slightly over, and I just want it to be a little bit lighter. You don't want it to be too close to the color that you just laid down, otherwise you're not going to be able to see the difference. It's just going to look like a dark shadow and then even more dark shadow. So you want it to be a little bit lighter, which is why I tested it on my hand first to make sure that there was enough of a difference so that you would be able to see. Otherwise it's just going to look dark and then dark. That's so it's going to go here. And again, I'm going to go just on the line of the first placement that I did. And this side is a little bit darker, so I'm just going to put that there. Try to make them approximately the same. I'm being brave today because normally I don't I don't put my makeup on first. I actually have my face makeup on first this time. Trying to get brave and act like I know what I'm doing. Don't know if that's gonna work out for me or not. So I'm just gonna go here. And we'll go like that. So see how you can see that there is a blended color over top, but then this dark line is still very visible, okay? So I'm going to go back to this brush here. Just hold on for a minute, I'm just going to get a wipe. I always want to keep one of those handy. So then I'm going to go back to the dark color here. I'm going to tap in here, and I'm going to bring this color forward. Just a little bit. So you're going to bring it here. And you're going to bring it along the lid as well, just so you have a flow of that color, okay? Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, but see how the dark line right here is still noticeable? it's still very noticeable because you placed it on first. So just like when you're painting or coloring or anything like that, when you put the color on first and then you would try to put it on later, and then you realize that the black or the pink or whatever that you put on, and then you're trying to put the same color after, it tends to look a little bit lighter because it's had time to set in. So this is exactly the same thing that's happening. So we're gonna up here, I'm just gonna make sure that I get the lid area as well. Okay. And then I'm just gonna brush that off. And then I'm gonna go to the middle color. And I'm going to put that down as well. And I have a little bit of creasing in my eye. Just gonna rub that off. This. And I'm gonna stop right here because this part would be the crease if we were actually making a cut crease, okay? But we're gonna stop. We're not bringing that color over there. And we don't want to go through all the rigmarole of like removing the color and doing the crease and all of that. So that's why we're stopping there. So like here. And then I'm going to brush that off. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this light color here, or you could choose even a lighter color. It just depends on what you want. So I'm going to go in this color here, and again, you want something that's flat on the top. So this is a brush that is slightly fluffy, but it's got a point. Actually, let me go this so I can see. So on the top of it, it's kind of flat. You see that? Maybe I should put it on my arm. Nope, that's even worse. It's closer to my skin color. So you want something that's got like a flattish sort of edge on it. And then what I'm going to do is, instead of removing that area and then putting the concealer and then doing the crease, etc., I'm just going to take that color and I'm going to put it where I would have put a crease, or where I would have cut the crease with a concealer or anything else, or removed it with micellar water, whichever way that you do your cut creases. And we're going to go just under that line that we drew the first time, and then I'm just going to pat it in over here. Okay. And then I'm going to go over on the other side and do the same thing. And I'm just doing it just till under that dark color, which is why you want the brush with a sort of a point, because if it's fluffy, it's the shadow that you put on is just going to go over that. So you want something where there's sort of it gathers together at the end so that you can stop it from doing that. Then again, I'm just going to pat this here on the front. I like mine very high. You do not have to do it this high if you don't want. For me, like, I don't like a little itty bitty. I'm like, if I'm going to go through all this, I want somebody to see it. So I put it like really high because I'm not going to walk around like this. That's my interpretation of it anyway, is like, I'm not going to be going like this all the time. People are not going to see like what the eyeshadow looks like on my eye, and so I always bring it higher for that reason. Like, even like some of the people that I see like on IG or whatever, right, when they show their looks, it's just me, like, I think to myself, okay, but if you have to go like this to show everybody what you've done, and other than that, it's totally hidden, it just doesn't make sense to me. So, and that's just me personally. Everybody can have their own opinion on that, right, obviously. So I'm gonna wipe that off again, and then I'm gonna tap in the darker color, And I'm just going to go over that line one more time, just to make sure that it's very noticeable, or as noticeable as I want it to be or you want it to be. You may not want yours to be as darkened as I do. So everybody has their own taste, their own flavor of, you know, what they like their eye looks to look like, right? So yours doesn't have to look like mine. You can use the same principles, but like change it for yourself, right? And then I'm just gonna go like that. I'm gonna bring it in a little bit. I like mine brought in. Again, you don't have to do that. Today I just want it that way. Don't always do it that way, but today I want it where it's just kind of like brought in right here. And I raise my brow for that, because when I go like this, if I try to do it with my eyes just normally the way that they are, that line is going to go down in places that I don't want. So when I'm doing like the inner corner of my eye, pretty much all the time, if I'm bringing color this way, I will raise my eye slightly, because otherwise I'm not going to get that line. What I'm going to get is a mush of color that came all the way down here, and I don't want that. And then just going to go like that, and then I'm going to take this color again and just, because as you pick color, just with anything else, like if you're painting or, you know, anything like that, when you put on another color, it sort of reduces the first color that you put in. So you just want to go back and just touch that up a little bit. And so this is the look, and that's what I'm going out with today. So it gives you, I think I'm going to put it a little bit lighter here for me. Again, you do what's comfortable for you. There's no one way, and you know, that's one of the best pieces of advice I ever got about makeup. I remember when I first started watching, and I watched this one particular person, and they had said that there is no one way to do anything. There's like a million ways to do things. So, you know, there are certain principles, of course, like color theory, etc. But, you know, their advice was to stay away from anybody who tells you, oh, you have to do it this way or don't do it that way, because there's just no such thing as that in makeup, right? There's editorial makeup, there's natural makeup, there's all different kinds, and everybody has their own style, including the people who are professionals and have been doing it for 25 years. You'll have one person tell you, oh yeah, do it like this, and then another person who has the same credentials telling you that they don't like that. So a lot of it is personal opinion, as opposed to, say, you know, color theory or something like that, where that just doesn't change, right? So anyway, this is the look. I'm going to, I think, put some black liner on there as well. And just first of all, though, I'm gonna go powder my face, and then I'll be back, because that's really boring to watch. So all I did was just put powder on my face. So now I'm going to put just a little bit of a liner. So I just want to do a small wing. So I'm going to show you how I do it on this side here. So what I have is the NYX, the Epic Ink liner. So it is a felt liner, not the liquid one with the brush, because I find that they're easier, especially if you're just learning to do liquid liner. Though some people, mind you, everybody has different talents. Some people can get like the liquid liner and they ace it right away. I am not one of those people. I can use the liquid liner still, but I just think generally for most people this is easier. So that's what I'm going to show you myself doing it with. So I'm just going to go up here, and I'm going to go right here on my eye. So you can start down here, or you can start up here depending on what you want. So if you have like really hooded eyes, like where this part comes down like really low, I would start like down at the very bottom, and honestly you don't have to go up, because what tends to happen is the ink or whatever will like settle into your hood, and then it kind of looks funny, especially if you're older like me and you do have like small lines that are in that area. It will tend to accentuate it. So I'm just going to go up just a little. I just want like a baby wing, okay? So with a baby wing, so see how my crease is like right here, right? So I'm not really gonna go any higher than that. So I'm just gonna go to the edge, and I'm not gonna use the point. So I'm not pointing down like this. I'm going slightly sideways with the pen. So I'm going like this, and I'm just going to go to the edge of my eye, and I'm going to go out. Okay, so see how even if I had like hoods over here, you would just go a little bit straighter as opposed to the one that I did. And then what I'm going to do again is, instead of going to the very top, I'm going to go just a little bit lower. You're trying to make that point, and so you have this urge to start from the very top and then go back down. But especially when you're a beginner, what that ends up doing a lot of the times is taking away that pointed area. So now it looks almost more rounded because you started at the top. So what I do is I go like, this is the top right here. So I'm going to go down just a little bit, and then I'm going to go towards my crease, okay? Towards my crease. And then I'm just going to go, now you can go straight down, or you can make it a little bit of an angle depending on what you want. So I'm just going to make it a little bit at an angle. So I'm just going to go like this, and I can see, like you can see where it stops right here against my my crease, and then I'm just going to make it at a little bit of an angle right here, okay? You can't see it obviously because I have my hood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my eyes up so that I can see, and I'm just going to fill in that area. So all you're doing is just making it black, okay? So you're just like you're coloring in a coloring book or anything else, you're just going to lift that up, and you're just going to fill that in. It's hard for me to see because I don't have a mirror right there. I can say I did an oopsie, but I can fix that with a Q-tip later, or just with my nail like I just did. Okay, and then I'm just going to go back, and then I'm going to go to the point. And see how it still stays pointed? I find that when I try to do it from that point from the very beginning, what happens is it doesn't look pointed anymore when I do it. So I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to make that go down, and then I'm going to fill it in. Okay. Fill in that area. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the line that goes across. And so what I do to do that is I look down just like you normally would to put on your eyeliner, and then I lift my chin slightly up. And what that does is it allows me to see exactly where the top part of my lash is. So a lot of times if you just look down, you think that you've got it, but then when you look back up, you'll see like there's a space in between like the top of your lashes and where you put your liner. So I find that I can circumvent that by looking down slightly first and then lifting my chin slightly up, and then same thing, holding the brush sort of sideways, not to the point, and then just going across my eye. And then I want it a little bit thicker, so I'm just going to go over the line that I did and just do the same thing until it gets to the thickness that I want. And then I'm just gonna, if there's any spots or anything, I can color it in the same way. Like that. And then that is my eyeliner. Actually, this needs to be, I'm just going to put it in one more time. I had it out for too long because I'm explaining, and it's liquid, so of course it's drying as I'm speaking. So if you were just doing it straight, it wouldn't do what it just did to me, okay, because you would just be doing it like right away as opposed to like taking 5 minutes because you're talking. Okay, like that, and then that would be my liner. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to do it in the mirror because we've seen it once. And then that's that. Those are my wings. And I think they're about the same. Yeah, they are. I want this one a little bit more pointed. And I think this one a little bit more pointed up. So you can always go up and do alterations as well. Like, never feel like just because you didn't get it like A1 the first time that you've somehow done something wrong, right? You got to remember that a lot of the times when you're looking at these people who are on social media or what else, they do all these things and it's off camera, and then they come back if you look closely, right? And then all of a sudden you see like these subtle changes that have happened. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with having to go back and then do it again. Like, I'm looking right here and I see this one is a little bit higher, so I'm just gonna go and fix that. Ain't no shame in my game. You do what you gotta do to have the look that you want. So I'm just gonna go up a little bit higher because the other one is higher. And then there we go. They're both more of the same now, because obviously we want them to be similar, right? So I'm just going to take my other brush. Let me see what I did with it. I will lose a brush in a minute, you guys. Okay, found it. I'm notorious for losing brushes. And then I'm just going to go up here again, because again, to me, it's looking a little bit duller. So I'm just going to go like that, and go like that, and went a little too far, so I'm just going to go back here and put that color back. Okay. So I'm showing you everything because I know for me, I find it like really frustrating sometimes when I'm looking at stuff and it's just like, you know, all this stuff they take out. And then, you know, you have to know how to, it's nice to know how to fix the things that you do that you need fixed as well, right? So I hope you don't mind. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to put my mascara. So this is the Essence mascara from Essence Beauty, and it's called Lash Princess, and this one is called the False Lash Effect. So I really love these mascaras. I think they do a great job. I'm obviously not affiliated with them or anything. I'm just telling you what I like. I think they do a great job, and the price is like amazing. So in Canada, these are only like under $6, which is insane. Especially in Canada, like even like the drugstore ones that they're always talking about on the social media, a lot of it is American, and they'll be like, oh, this is only $9, but it's like $22 in Canada. This is only $6 in Canada. And if you're from Canada, just to let you know, I find mine at Shoppers Drug Mart. So the best way to do your lashes again is to shimmy it at the bottom, go to the very bottom, shimmy your lashes, and then roll it up. So the rolling part is hard for me because of my hands. So this is why I do it like this way. But it works really well, and it makes their lashes like super long and nice looking. But for me, it's hard. So I do the best I can. So also to let you know as well that when you see my lashes, that yours will look 1,000 times better because you can actually apply it properly. So when I tell you this is a good mascara, it really is. And for $6, you really can't beat it. I've totally spent, you know, $30 on mascara that didn't work this well. So this is definitely a good buy, and especially if you're a beginner too, because you know a lot of these products that these people tell you about, they're so expensive. They're like, oh yes, I bought this powder, and you go look and the powder's like $82, you know what I mean? So this is like really budget friendly. Anybody can afford this mascara. You know, $6, you can't beat it, right? So I'm just putting some down on the bottom. Like, look at how long that made my bottom lashes, right? It's crazy. I talk about them all the time because I love them. And I'm just gonna do a little bit in the front here. And here. And then for my lips, what I'm gonna use is I just bought this. It's a multi-stick. And this is from Wet n Wild, and it's a brown color, so you're supposed to be able to use it for everything. So I'm going to use it on my lips. So I'm just going to line my lips. It's actually really nice. It's nice and smooth to put on. Just gonna put it all over my lip. So I think that's a nice color for me, so I'm just gonna put it all over my lip. And then on the inner as well. Wow, it's actually super nice. I love when things are easy to put on. Like, it just really, really glides on. And especially with me, with my hands, that was really lovely, and it went on like super well. And then I'm gonna put my trusted, I love the Too Faced, it's the melted chocolate. I'm just gonna put a little dab here, 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 and here. And I'm just gonna take my finger and just go like this. Wipe my hand on that. And then I don't have all of my brushes available. Like I said, I'm like mid-washing. So I'm just going to take the same brush that I put my foundation on, and I'm going to grab a little bit of this color here just to get a little bit of definition. And I don't know if he told you guys this, but this is the Get Snatched palette. It's a contour palette from Lorella Cosmetics. So I'm just going to go here, going to rub it on my hand. And I'm just going to do like a C formation here, just to get a little bit of something something in my face. Then I'm going to do two there again, rub it on my hand, just giving my face just a little bit of definition, not really like super contouring or anything, and just again doing that C right here. Then I am going to the Blooms palette, which is from Playing in Makeup by Yolando. Again, I'm just telling you what I use. You can use obviously whatever you have. And then I'm just going to take this color here for blush, and I'm just going to pat that in 3 times, do the same thing, and put the blush slightly just underneath my eye, going in the same sort of formation, but not all the way up to my forehead like I did with the contour color. Doing the same thing on the other side. I think I'll put a little more, like always like a little bit more color right there. Again, it's all individual. If you don't like it there, then don't put it there. Put it the way that you like it, that works for you and your face, okay? And then that is it. I am done, and this is my look for today. And today I am off to Shoppers Drug Mart to do what? Buy more makeup. Have a great day, everyone.